Oh, I thought you were showing him a photo of a fish you caught.
Oh, no, just,
What is that?
I don't know. It's right down there if you want to go see it.
All right, everybody. David from Arizona has found something unusual here. We're going to check it out. Let's see. Huh. Let me see the other side of that, David. Yeah, there you go. I'm not sure what that is. I wonder if any of our viewers out there will know. Huh. That's really cool. Dude, thank you, man.
Oh, yeah, anytime.
All the way from Arizona to show us that. Some decayed fish of some kind. We're going to leave it to our viewers to identify it. All right, man. Thank you, David.
Fishing moving into full day range out of San Diego as there was kelp patty, yellowtail, some dorado, and bluefin tuna for the full day boats. Let's put you on the deck of the Grande right now.
Hey, Ling, what's going on?
We got 3 right here.
It's hitting. Got a few fish going.
24 anglers on the Grande at 7 bluefin tuna, 106 yellowtail, 3 dorado, while the San Diego had 28 bluefin and 65 yellowtail. Wow, it is biting. Now you're looking at Marcus Fain. He was on board the Mission Belle at the Coronado Islands, and the yellows were biting there also. Man, there is a big jag of yellows all over the place. We have them at Clemente at the Coronado Islands on the kelps. It's really looking good. Marcus said 25-pound tests were great, but if you really wanted to catch the big ones, you threw the iron. That was best of all. Great fishing
Another
going
popular
on.
method of hooking your bait, and probably one of my favorites, is the belly hook. One of the things I like about it is that the moment it hits the water, it takes off really good. Okay. What we do now, we change our approach to the bait tank a little bit different, or how we actually get the bait. Because what we do now, we're still going to come underneath that bait, but we want to turn them upside down like this to expose those 2 belly fins. Okay. What we do, again, guys, always keeping in mind that we are threading the circle hook into that fish as opposed to forcing it through. Okay, so now we get the barb right in there, get ourselves a little bit of meat. We're ready to go.
Hey, good morning, my dear friends, and welcome to beautiful Surfside, California, Friday morning. It's absolutely gorgeous here. Yeah, I know it's a little foggy. It's perfect air temperature. It's nice and cool, actually. And I got to tell you, man, that ocean looks really, really nice. Hey, what is that carcass from? Is that a lingcod head, or what is it? What do you think? Drop a comment down below if you think you know what that gentleman, David, he's visiting from Arizona, found on the beach here in Surfside early this morning. Hey, we got a lot to cover with you. We're going to check out the Independence. They're headed down the Baja coast right now. We'll check in with our dear friends at Botes Juanitos in Ensenada, Baja California. Berenice Soto had a really great day on the Yellowtail yesterday. More kelp patty yellowtail pushing closer to San Diego, mixed with a few dorado and some good bluefin tuna fishing. The full day boats are all over it right now. Really good stuff. How about that big bluefin around San Clemente Island? Did it bite last night? We'll check in on that. White sea bass, still seeing a ton of it in the Channel Islands. Has it settled in? Is it consistent? Is it biting? And of course, we've got some limits of sand bass to talk about again here today, and so much more. You know what time it is. It is time for the morning briefing. Good morning, my friends. So good to be with you all. Thank you so much for joining us. Hit the like button. We deeply appreciate that. Share these videos with a friend. Subscribe to the Friedman Adventures YouTube channel and tick that little bell. You'll be notified when there's new content. You can catch us on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram, on Apple Podcasts, and Spotify. It is such a pleasure to be with you all. Can't thank you enough for pounding on that like button. It means the world to us. Our views are going through the roof this year as we just continue to build, all thanks to you. Over under on the guy behind me, I'm going to put it at 0. I'll give you a little hint. I just talked to him and he said, man, there's just way too much kelp here. It's way too big a pain in the neck. He's got 1 fish for all his efforts here so far this morning, and he said he's going to leave. So if he catches more than 0, and you want to bet on him to do that over, you win. All right, so keep your eye on him because I may get a little busy with you all. All right, let's go south of the border down to the beautiful coastal Mexican town of Ensenada. It's a beautiful drive to get down there, 70 miles, and the Yellowtail action offshore is really, really good right now. Berenice Soto was out with our dear friend Foca from Botes Juanitos, and they cranked up 9 Yellowtail yesterday. Way to go, Berenice. That is some fine offshore fishing. They were looking for flatheads, dorado that is. They were looking for some more bluefin tuna. They had to settle on the Yellowtail, and man, what's wrong with that? 9 nice Yellowtail offshore. So that is a real deal for anglers out of Ensenada right now. And that dorado. And perhaps some yellowfin tuna, although we haven't seen any of that at all since that catch was made by Sean Morgan about 6 days ago now. He had 25 yellowfin tuna 40 miles below Ensenada. He said it was full speed and he didn't even have bait. They were just throwing jigs at the fish. So we'll see if that enters into the picture also. But Ensenada offshore, you've got a shot at that bluefin tuna. Not huge fish, but 15 to 40 pounds for the most class. Trolled Mad Mac lure is a great way to get a bite on those things. Also bring some of those dart jigs, Dawasacanas, Colt Snipers, 120 gram. Works really good if you drive up on a foamer of fish. There's also some of that big offshore bonita running around there. Those bonito are anywhere from 5 to over 10 pounds. So there's a lot of activity offshore, and this is only going to get better as we push deeper into summer and then move into the fall when our best weather months for northern Baja and southern California and even up into northern California, those are the best weather months for sure. The fall promises to bring us lots of variety, great weather. It should be really fantastic this fall. So really nice fishing going on offshore. Now inshore in Ensenada, you can still come up with some great calico and sand bass fishing, flurries of barracuda around Todos Santos Island and coastal regions also. We've seen that biting really, really well. That inshore yellowtail, there's yellows that pop up in bird schools. Inshore, you can still get a piece of that running on those bird schools and then throwing a surface iron has been a great way to make things happen. So really nice fishing down there in Ensenada. We look there because I know a lot of you like going down there and fishing, but we also look there because so many times it's a preview of what's to come here in SoCal. And I like the flow upward. It is looking really, really good. All right, Independence. They should start fishing tomorrow, I believe it is. I'll check with Captain Brian Pfeiffer and see what's up a little bit later today. And if anything's going on the Independence, I will keep you in touch with all the very, very latest. But they are now headed down the Baja coast on an 8-day trip. That has been fantastic fishing for the boys who've been down there. Wahoo, yellowfin tuna, yellowtail, grouper. And the Independence even went into the Baja coast on their way home and had fabulous big calico bass biting and a wide open white sea bass bite. I don't know how you can get it any better than that, especially when you're riding on that big, beautiful Independence, so comfortable, such a great cruise, so much fun. So we'll continue to watch that for you very closely. Big bluefin tuna. Most of that fish is up around San Clemente Island, out toward San Nicolas Island, around Santa Barbara Island, the Osborne Bank. You'll see it. There's tons of it. It is just flat teasing everybody right now because while you see voluminous, not copious, voluminous amounts of bluefin tuna around all those areas I just mentioned to you, they just really don't want to bite that well. They're still off the bite. The nighttime bite has been extremely difficult here recently. That light switch will flip on one of these days. I don't know if it's moon phase or what it is, but it'll flip on. But for right now, very tough fishing on the big fish. And some guys, they get a charter group and they're big fish, do or die guys, and they stick right with that until the dying end. And man, I'll tell you, the crews on the boats that are working this right now, they work their tails off. You know, you look at a score and it's not very good and you think, wow, what happened? It's not because the crews are not trying. They want you to catch fish. And they also know that while it's not biting and they're trying so hard and they're working their tails off for you, at some point in time that light switch is going to go on. And they think to themselves, maybe this will be the lucky night or the next lucky drop. So hopefully that's going to happen. Pacific Dawn, 2-day trip for bluefin tuna, 100 to 200 pounds. New low add with 35 bluefin tuna, to 100 pounds, fishing south of the border, I believe. Not positive on that. Second of a 3-day trip. They're on fish here this morning. We'll see how that works out. Pacific Queen, 25 bluefin, 100 yellowtail, 2 dorado. They are fishing those kelps south. Most of those kelps down there at 100 miles, 90 miles, but it's starting to bleed up. And I'll have that in just a second. The full day trip's pretty darn impressive. Polaris Supreme on a 2-day trip, 68 bluefin tuna, 137 on the yellowtail. So those kelps continue to produce south of the border. If you can't get this big fish to bite, looks like it's going to be 0. He's out of here, man. He's had enough of this kelp on the beach. So hopefully that bluefin tuna is going to bite. I talked to Will on the El Dorado just a moment ago out of Long Beach sport fishing. He said, Phil, we're sticking to the island here. We're going to fish Clemente today. We're not even looking at that bluefin. Perhaps a little bit later today we will, because you can literally be a mile or 2 off the island right now, throw some bait, and get an explosion on those bluefin tuna. Now, over on the Royal Polaris, they're on a 4-day trip. Doug Inoue and the guys from the Orange County Tuna Club, and they've been scratching out some of those great big fish, making dreams come true. In fact, Doug had some guys out with him, and they've never even fished tuna before, and they're coming up with these 100-plus pound tuna that would blow any angler's mind. But for a guy who's never fished BFT before to catch a fish like that, that is really fantastic stuff. Orange County Tuna Fishing Club is making dreams come true out there on the Royal Polaris. So that is all looking really, really good. Good stuff. Be tackled up. Don't let your guard down. You still need that 100-pound Spectra. You still need the 200-pound bite leaders to fish that fish. One of these days, that's going to come roaring back. There's way too much fish around. Way too much. We see it everywhere. And that just means that it is going to get on the chew here really, really soon. Again, hopefully it's going to be in the next hour or so, and I'll be monitoring for you very, very closely. All right, once again, the Apollo fishing kelps on an overnight trip, giving an example of what kind of scores they're coming up with. 14 anglers, 57 yellowtail on the kelps. Nothing wrong with that. All right, let's talk full day fishing out of San Diego, because yesterday was a magnificent day for the Grande. They put the wood to the fish. San Diego also had some great fishing. They got on the fish early in the morning, like just after 9 a.m. The Grande was in great fishing, mixed fish. This is the kind of fishing I love, where it starts to mix up. And man, when it mixes up, it is so much fun, because you just never know what you're going to catch next. A yellowtail or a bluefin tuna, a dorado. Later on in the year, the yellowfin should join the party. That's the kind of fishing I absolutely love. Grande, 24 guys, 7 bluefin tuna, 106 on the yellowtail. Tremendous score, and 3 flatheads. Little bit of dorado starting to sneak in. Not anything wide open by any stretch of the imagination, but we're starting to see it. That fish, you know, I talked about looking down to Ensenada and beyond that. Ensenada is about 70 miles, 100 miles, and seeing what is headed up into our direction here in Southern California. You can see the natural progression of the fish moving up the line. They're going to follow warm water and bait when we're talking about warm water species, obviously. And we've got that going. It started a little bit later than normal, but it is starting to crank up and go. San Diego, out of C4 Sport Fishing in San Diego, 28 bluefin tuna, 65 yellowtail. That is some really good full day fishing. Remember, I would bring some 25-pound fluorocarbon, GT4 fluoro from Pro Marahi. It's the new hot stuff. You get more of it for a less expensive price. Put in FA at checkout, and you'll get another 10% off. But I'm telling you, you're definitely going to want to have your 30 and 40 pound. That is what you want to fish with. Circle hooks, smaller circle hooks, perhaps best of all. Bring a variety, ask the crew when you get there. And man, choosing a good hot bait and changing that bait regularly. Change your bait, change your luck. That old axiom seems to work. So if you're not getting bit pretty quick on your bait, change it and move to another bait, and that will do you a lot of good. Really good stuff. Those boys are rolling up on that area as we speak right now this morning. Something tells me we have some early updates for you, as the boys had some really tremendous fishing going on. Tax problems? Tim Marquez is on the Spirit of Adventure right now. He caught some bluefin tuna and some kelp patty yellowtail yesterday around that 100-mile area. Tim's been doing taxes for 35 years. Give him a call now. And for your heating and or air conditioning needs, John Lopez, efficient heating and air conditioning at your service. Really good stuff out of San Diego. I love to see those full day guys have had a tough season so far. Now it's starting to settle and bite, and hopefully it rolls right on through the fall for those guys. They work really, really hard at it, and those are some nice scores. Let's talk about the islands now. The Coronado Islands have been on fire. Greg Gutierrez was out a couple of days ago and said, Phil, it was fantastic on the Mission Bell. Can't get much better. Greg graces the cover of the morning briefing. That thumbnail is Greg with that big smile and that nice yellowtail. Way to go, Greg. And yesterday, another good friend, Marcus Fain, was on board the Mission Bell, and it was flat wide open. I think he said he had 10 for 13 on the yellowtail. 10 for 13. That is some great fishing. He said there was a variety of fish from small to really nice, big, kind of home guard type yellowtail. Big, fat, 20-plus pound forkies. He said the way to get the bigger fish seemed to be a surface iron. Throwing a surface iron was definitely the way to go. You do not want to throw any surface iron with less than 40 pound. I like 50 pound fish heavy because you never know. There's structure around there. You may have to pull that thing away from a sea lion. There's all kinds of obstacles in your way of catching your prize yellowtail. But man, what a day. 122 yellowtail on board the Mission Bell. We've been telling you about this fight for quite some time. The Coronado Islands, magnificent fishing going on there right now. And, you know, just to mention, there's great calico bass fishing. You'll probably never get to it. There's rockfish, probably never going to get to that. And there's some barracuda and bonita around there. But everybody's focused on the yellowtail, and it is spectacular. Weekend boat pressure can drop that bite down, so we'll see how that happens. If you can get away on a weekday, I highly recommend you do just that. Keep that in mind. What a great trip. Lucky B was there with 3 anglers. Fisherman's Landing, a yacht, 15 yellowtail for limits. Great fishing going on there. So tremendous fishing at the Coronado Islands. We take you out to San Clemente Island where all those bluefin tuna are boiling around. But we are focused in on that morning bite on the yellowtail. You know, it flashes from any time after you anchor, like 2, 3 in the morning until about 7 o'clock in the morning, and then it gets over. Sometimes it's the sea lions get on you after daybreak, or they get on you in the dark and they'll shut it down, or sometimes it's just over. They're done biting. The Freedom was out, and they had Friedman Ramirez on there. Furman, thanks for the photos. Thanks for the intel. Really appreciate it. 21 yellowtail to about 15 pounds on most of their yellowtail. There's been a lot of big fish there, but there's some of that smaller grade stuff mixed in with it. They also took a look for some bass around Clemente, picked at the calico bass. Not wide open, but decent bass fishing, especially if you drop down to 15-pound fluorocarbon. And again, choose that really good hot bait. Other guys at Clemente had good yellowtail scores. Fury, Thunderbird, those boys are on that all the time. It's dropper loop fishing with live squid in the early morning hours. So you're going to fish 50, 60 pounds. Jeff Yeomans from the 540 Slinger Club said, don't be afraid to fish 60. And I think Jeff nailed it. I think he's absolutely right. Sometimes an 8-ounce torpedo sinker. Sometimes you got a lot of wind and current, and you can up it to a 12. And big hook, 5-0, 7-0, big hook, okay? They're biting it. You want to pin them on a big hook, and then you own them. So there's some good early morning yellow action going on at San Clemente Island. Into Catalina Island we take you, and there's calico bass. There's a few yellowtail. The pursuit out of 22nd Street landing at San Pedro, California. Had a couple of yellows yesterday, some calico bass. We continue to see a little bit of evidence of white sea bass and halibut, but it's few and far between on that. Some rockfish, some mighty blue perch over there at Catalina Island. So we've been seeing a lot of that. The El Patron out of Long Beach, Sportfishing. Again, they've been having great bass fishing, ultra limited loads on the El Patron. They've also had a go around on the yellowtail from time to time. Barracuda, bonita, good variety over there. Not wide open, but you know, kind of a pick at all of that stuff at Catalina Island. Beautiful weather, nice times over there. www.longbeachsportfishing.org to get on the El Patron. I highly recommend you do that. Also, up there in the Channel Islands, we are picking at the white sea bass up there and seeing tons of it. Man, if you just look at the sonars up there, guys just continue to meter a ton of white sea bass in the Channel Islands, but getting those little devils to settle and bite has been difficult. Sometimes, though, they go wide open. The Endeavor's had probably the best recent scores where they had wide open white sea bass fishing. Wouldn't surprise me to see that happen here again really, really soon. Gray Light up there out of Cisco's with 2 white sea bass and a yellowtail. Nothing wrong with that hit. And then also the Island Spirit fishing local and the islands doing the combo trips out of Ventura Sportfishing, catching, some bass and barracuda and bonita, not wide open, not too much on the bonita, occasional yellowtail, occasional halibut, occasional white sea bass, but mostly some bass, barracuda, and rockfish. Rockfish, the staple that you can always fall back on and provide excellent table fare for everybody on board. Don't forget Island Spirit this Sunday. Kids fish free. They're out on Saturday also. You can jump on board the Island Spirit. The customer service is great, and you'll have a really wonderful time. I guarantee you that. 805-676-3474, or go straight to the website, VenturaSportFishing.com, and get on the Island Spirit. All right, so some good stuff going on up and down the coast. We continue to watch the situation with the 1/2 and 3/4 day boats down in San Diego. Good bass fishing down there. Sometimes it's a lot of short fish, but good action. Occasional sea bass and yellowtail in there, and really nice bass fishing and a lot of fun for kids. Same thing up there around Oceanside and Dana Wharf. A lot of bass, but a lot of shorts also. Occasional, nice big fat one. And you'll get a shot at some legal fish also. As always, when you're fishing bass, ladies and gentlemen, you definitely drop that fluorocarbon down. Your GT4 fluorocarbon should be around 15-pound test. Choosing a good hot bait will always make a huge difference to your success. Up here in this neck of the woods, second day in a row, the Victory out of Long Beach Sport Fishing. Limits of sand bass, 20 guys, 100 sand bass. Limits of sculpin, 100 on the sculpin. And they also had 12 barracuda trying to settle in and bite here. It's looking better and better and better. Local boats like the Monte Carlo, the Native Sun, some of those guys who are hanging out locally are also getting a piece of that, and some doing really, really well right now. Hopefully, we got a couple days in a row now on the Victory with limits of bass, so hopefully that is going to continue to bite, and we'll keep our eyes on it. Same thing on the sand bass, by the way. You want to get a bite, drop that fluorocarbon down to lighter line, and you will get munched on. I guarantee you that. If that fails, if the bass don't bite and the barracuda don't show up, and you want to have some iron for that barracuda, plenty of sculpin here, so you can hear that the guys are able to send you home with some good eating fish. Nothing wrong with that. And again, we already covered the Island Spirit. I should mention along the beach, however, there is some pretty good sand bass fishing going on in there. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that like button. We deeply appreciate that. Big Fish Bait and Tackle right there on the corner of Seal Beach Boulevard and PCH. You can get in there. Monthly contest, and it's absolutely free after you purchase the ruler down there at Big Fish Bait and Tackle, and then they'll give you all the rules. This month, it's for the biggest spot fin croaker. Next month, who knows what it'll be, but a brand new custom, beautiful surf fishing rod every single month, courtesy of Big Fish Bait and Tackle. Good yellowfin croaker fishing up and down the beach, but today here, man, way too much kelp, making it very, very difficult. There's a few halibut being taken. Also, John Garma picked off a legal fish here recently. He is such a great guy and such a great angler. Love to see John doing his thing. I see some guys surf fishing down this way, so they're gutting it out in this kelp. We'll see if they can't pick off a spot fin croaker or two. A lot of Corbina now from San Diego all the way up to Ventura. Santa Monica Basement, good around that Topaz Rock Jetty. There's a lot of bean down there. Around down here on Beach Boulevard, you drive right down to the beach, hang a left and go down to Newland Street. Whoa, is there a lot of Corbina there in the surf right now. That's another really excellent spot. We see Corbina in here also. Remember, Corbina are like our bonefish. You can actually see them there in the surf. You can stalk those things. Man, it is so much fun to present a bait right in front of their nose and have them bite it. They love to bite sand crabs. Bloodworms are a couple of really good baits for those fish, and they're very wily and discriminating feeders. So dropping down to 6-pound test gives you a great battle and a lot more productivity when fishing the beans here All right, there is so much great stuff going on here early here Friday morning, headed to a beautiful weekend. I can't wait to bring you all the very latest. As we go along, we'll check on the independents. We'll see if those local boats aren't getting slammed on the bluefin and the dorado and the yellowtail on the kelps. Talking to San Diego Grande and the other guys who are out there. Coronado Islands, red hot fishing there. Really, really good. We'll keep our eyes on all of that and more. And as always, I hope to see you really, really soon.